Alright, everybody, welcome in and thank you for tuning into another Hextechs dual view of the 8-man tournament that we did. I'm Mythic Fish, I'm here with Indormi,
Hey guys.
and today we have a special matchup between Indormi and Cabalpapa. Indormi's deck is based around playing marbles, doing Mastery of Time, and using Drew. So you can basically have a Drew that never has to exhaust to attack. You can gain 10 life and close the game out very quickly with a Drew with the Mastery of Time. And Indormi's going to tell us a little bit about Cabal's deck.
So Cabal's deck is basically a Bloodwell Escalation Madness deck. He is running 4 Relentless Corrosion and 4 Crash of Beast, and he has and the rest of the day is just support for that. He is playing troops like Sensei to get faster to his escalation cards, and Necessary Sacrifice in conjunction with the Monica Shin for free card draw. So what Cabaldex wants to do is stall and try and finish the game with when the escalation is just too much for your opponent to handle, even if it's just a lot of rhinos, or just kill them with their own cards. So with that being said, let's go to the games.
Yeah, so this one is a very long one because both decks are kind of designed to stall out. As you said, Cabal's deck is designed to stall and just draw a bunch of Relentless Corruptions and Crash the Beast, whereas your deck is designed to get yourself to a point where you can just end the game quickly with the Drew. You have the ability to go more quickly to end the game quicker than Cabal can, but it's still gonna be a long game, regardless. You can both enter each other too easily.
Yeah, I mean Cabal's deck also has meaningful ways to interact with my deck, which is one of the things that Sapphire Diamond is strong against. That it's a little bit hard to interact with them, as the cards are a little bit not strange, but a little bit more protected than other ones. As Marble is a constant, so you need to have the constant removal to deal with it, or once it transforms into Cavalry, you basically need Extinction to deal with it. Drew, on the other hand, it's an artifact, so it doesn't get hit by Mordors, so it's a removal that doesn't affect him. He's also super huge, so all the damage based removals also doesn't matter too much for him.
Yeah, and Wild and Blood have pretty solid answers to Marbles and Drews. In fact, they both have Extinctions and Nature Rains, so they can deal with a flipped Marble with the Extinction. They can also deal with a non-flipped Marble with a Nature Rains, and the same is true with Drew. While you still have cards like Living Totem, which are definitely a giant problem, because turn 2 Living Totem can really take over a game quickly if they can't be answered fast. So we see the first escalation card drawn there by Cabalpapa, which is the Crash of Beast. Can't cast it yet, but he'll be able to cast it turn 3. He's got perfect resources on turn 4, which is really nice for him. One of the greedy things about Blood Wild is they have a lot of double threshold cards. Almost all the wild cards you want to be playing are double wild, and a lot of the blood cards you want to be playing are also double blood. So, similar to Blood Diamond, where they have a lot of double in those, I think Blood Wild is probably more greedy in the thresholds than Blood Diamond even is.
Well, to be fair, they have also more ways to smooth out the draws. Although Cabal deck is not running Pact of Pain, he's running, I believe, 3 Necessary Sacrifice and 4 Senseis.
I think it's 4 actually. I think it's 4
4
Sacrifice, 4 Senseis.
Yeah, so he has a lot of card draws to smooth out his thresholds. So although it may be a little bit more greedy than other decks, he does have the card draw to smooth it over.
Yeah, I mean, even the card draw being double threshold is kind of awkward at times, but as you see here, you have the ability, even with cards like Howling Brave and Chlorophyll, you have the ability to fix the resources that way too. So Indormi can get a second Sapphire if he wants to go for a potential counter magic on turn 4 rather, and just pump his Marble here, or potentially Time Ripple the Rhino.
Yeah,
or could just stun the Living Totem.
Yeah, talking to myself as a third person is really weird, so I'll just say me. The couple of the choices I have is I could potentially go with the Sapphire and try to Time Ripple that guy. I could also play the Totem, but the thing is, I know he's playing some amount of removal, so and Totem can be a really good threat later on. So I may not want to expose him here and just wait for when he has exhausted a little bit more of his removal. To be fair, so I can give some insight of the matchup. I was putting Cabal on a similar deck, but not this one. one that is similar to what Mythic was running this tournament, that's of Battle Aura, which he used Spell Inquisitors with pump spells. So I was trying to play around to try to counter the Spell Inquisitors, which, as you can see, is not what Cabal's plan at all. So that influenced some of my plays in a negative way.
That's a strategy we went for a while back. We were looking at a deck like that with Spell Shield Inquisitors because they don't die ever because they just keep coming back to your hand, and that means they're really good targets for cards like auras. So something that could be worth checking out potentially. But as we see here, it's a way more control version of the deck, whereas what I ran, or that version, that would be the Spell Shield spiders were also a little more mid-range, whereas this is very just stall out, control the board as much as possible. You can end the game quickly with getting a bunch of Crasher Beasts potentially, but most games are going to go long, and the longer the game goes, the more it benefits Cabalpapa, because again, just drawing multiple escalation cards really just can get out of hand.
There's going to be a point where he's probably just going to win the game. It goes long enough. And again, the key cost on the matchup for Cabal is the draw. The escalation cost and the extinctions. Extinction are really important in this matchup. This is the most, basically the only way pre-sideboard, I believe, apart from Chaos Key, that he can deal with a marble. And once is resolved, probably going to go with the Cavalry just to be safe to Natural Rains. As I really do like playing Natural's main deck. I know other people do not, but I'm trying to play around Natural's main deck.
Yeah, I mean, I know Cabal's deck runs 4 Chaos Key main deck, so he doesn't play any Nature Rains main deck, but definitely play some in the reserves. But again, playing around potential Nature Rains main deck isn't horrible because it's not a bad choice to make. You know, like it's not a bad thing to have main deck because it doesn't. It's rarely ever a dead card. The only deck it's dead against would be Gore Feast.
Yeah, the aggro deck is really bad,
but against Mono Blood or Blood Diamond or Sapphire Diamond, any of the Diamond X decks all play Marble, so it usually has at least one target in every deck, so it's never really a bad choice. But Chaos Key is a little more versatile, so that's why Cabal and myself both went with Chaos Keys over Nature Range main deck.
Yeah, the strength of Nature's Range, it's of course the cost is way cheaper, and also the instant speed. The instant speed can be relevant in certain situations.
Yeah, Chaos Key being basic, I never really understood. It doesn't seem that powerful to be needing to be done on their turn. But I guess having just the ability to, at instant speed, void out anything is kind of gross. But
yeah,
I kind of wish it was. I kind of wish it was quick action, just because I prefer to leave open resources at all times if possible.
Yeah, I'm fine with it being basic action. I mean, it's good enough that you cannot respond with it on quick action speed if they play the Chaos Key and then they resolve the ability as they keep the priority. So you can use it as 7 remove anything.
Yes, the void actually works like sacrifice, right? Where it just happens, you can't respond to it. Like, I couldn't bounce the troop in response to it because it doesn't go on the stack.
No, the effect goes, the Chaos Key goes on the stack because it's activated ability. So you can respond to the activation.
Maybe most people just don't respond to it, and I just haven't noticed it on the stack. I thought it didn't go on the stack. But you're seeing Cabal getting the early beat down here. Sorry, we're talking about other things. Just kind of pump marble bash go here in the earlier stages.
So I could have transformed the marble here, but I was really playing around Extinction as much as possible. And if I waited one turn, I could potentially counter magic or time ripple my own cavalry. In addition,
it's a very strong play to have that too, especially because if you can counter magic their way to answer your marble, it can be really, really nice.
Unfortunately, Cabal here throws a counter not a counter an Inquisition, which makes my plan of counter magic in the Extinction gross.
Yeah, I mean you have to counter magic this though, right? I mean he's probably just gonna take either your second marble or maybe even the counter magic itself, which then leads him to be able to extinction you.
Yeah,
I probably would have counter magic it there.
I thought the thing behind it is that I thought he may not take the counter magic, although the information is quite important. I think it was fine.
Yeah, I mean, but your best answer to his relentless corruptions and that kind of those actions he's using to try to end the game is counter magic, and I mean, I
Yeah, exactly for that point.
Time.
I don't want to waste a counter magic in an Inquisition, as I want to save them for something else. So if he doesn't take the counter magic, it's fine. And if he takes the counter magic, well, I gave him the choice of misplaying and taking something else.
Which he took something else. Alright. I would have for sure been expecting him to take counter magic. That's why I usually, it's a rule from other card games. Usually, if someone plays a Inquisition type effect and you have a counter magic, usually you counter magic because that's what they're going to take for the most part anyway. So it's basically just using your resources. But even like you giving them the ability to, or the chance rather, to make the mistake of not taking the card you don't want them to take.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a mistake
nice.
because they will play around their hand and what they have issues answering it with. So it also gives you some kind of information depending on what they take. And also, if I have played counter magic this turn, I couldn't have pumped my marble completely.
You still could have flipped it next turn and had Time Ripple open to return it to your hand if he has an extinction, though.
It was at 5, so I could have pumped it twice. Yeah, I
It
could.
was at 6, I thought. Yeah, because you flipped it now, so it was at 6.
Yeah.
So you could have pumped it. You could have counter magicked it and then pumped it once and then flipped it on your turn, having open the potential for another counter magic, which he doesn't know you have at that point, or Time Rippling it back to your hand if he has a extinction for the cavalry. Okay. So I'm not sure if Indormi is still here or not.
Yeah, I'm here.
All right.
So yeah, as you can see in this game, I'm really taking a lot of time thinking about my options. This match happened a couple of like 2 weeks ago, something like that. So I may not remember every how my line of thought went.
Yeah, I mean, also you said you thought he was playing a different deck, so you're playing a little differently. I mean, I'm sure at this point you kind of have an idea that he's playing the escalation deck.
No, until I was on game 2, I was playing completely around the Inquisitors. The thing is, if he resolved the Inquisitor, I had no way of interacting with it really. So that's one of the reasons I didn't counter Mike that. Because I was saving all the time the resources for the Inquisitor. Which, as you can see, if we know playing his deck, it's a mistake. But there's but it was just my mistake on knowing what he was playing. I was playing around stuff that wasn't there, and I paid the price.
So, if you're Cabal there, would you have done that? I probably would have just slammed the Crasher Beast, knowing you can't really interact with it that well. I guess you have the totem in hand now, but
yeah, the Crush of Beast thing is that the totem right now is 4/4, so Crush of Beast is not going to be super effective, and he has a time to when he is able to resolve an escalation spell without fearing my counter magic, as I was tapped out. So I think going for the Runner's Corruption there was the right play.
yeah, starting taking that up isn't necessarily wrong, I mean, especially if he's got another card draw in hand with the Sensei, so he goes Sensei plus Crash Beast this turn.
Yeah, he also got a marble there, which is
really nice, obviously.
is one of the few cards I have really a lot of trouble interacting with. So it's really unfortunate for me.
Yeah, because now you have to use your counter magic to either counter the marble that's going to come down, which you don't know he has because you didn't see him draw it, or the Crash of Beast, which he's probably going to play out first to try to bait out the counter magic.
Again, I wouldn't have gone to the Crash of Beast. I will hold it for the Explosive Inquisitor because, as I said, I was playing all this game around something else, which is basically. Well, I will pay for it later.
So you kind of have to count this marble, right? Don't you? You have no answer to it in main deck.
I
do have exiles.
I have the solitary exiles. I don't have them right now, but I kind of have some answers to them. If he had resolved a spell here Inquisitor, I have no answer to it. If you start pumping it, I just lose the game. If it gets bigger than a 6/6, I really have no way of dealing with that. Unless pumping it out into Oblivion. Also, one of the issues here on my line of thought of all this is that I was playing around all the time of him making the cavalry, as he really doesn't play that many amount of troops. He only plays the senseis and the rhinos. So I was expecting him to make cavalry all the time. So I tried to bounce the marble a couple of turns from now, for him to not have a speed and kill me. As you can see, I'm at 6, at 10, and taking 6 will be really, really devastating. Which is a mistake, so we'll see in a little bit.
Yeah, guys, it's one of the things, like, especially with Blood Wild, there's so many different ways you can go with it. Whereas with Sapphire Diamond or Blood Diamond, you kind of have obviously Blood Diamond can have an aggro way or a mid-rangey or control way as well. But for the most part, you usually see those decks as being control decks. So when you see a Blood Wild control deck, you're playing around it differently because you're thinking maybe it's more of a mid-range deck. He's just not drawing the troops he needs or whatever at this point. So that's one of the weird strengths that Blood Wild has, is that there's so many different ways to go with it that you can't really always play around it correctly.
I mean, one of the main issues that I have played against the Inquisitor version not so long ago, and I hadn't played against this version recently. And also, one of the things that when you play against the Spell Shield version, they know that you cannot answer really well to the Inquisitor, so they just hold it and hold it and hold it until they know they can resolve it safely. So, and you're kind of forced to hold the counter mic all the time, which kinda sucks.
So we shouldn't go ahead and gain 5 life here, and bash in for 5. And keeping on with Counter Magic and Time Ripple, which is really nice for you to be able to keep open. Obviously, you could pump it to 6 here, but obviously keeping on with Counter Magic and Time Ripple is much better.
Yeah.
Because the only way to answer that right now is to Extinction.
Exactly. Or he could potentially Chaos Key plus Mortar, but that's a lot of resources like that he doesn't have currently.
You'd have to have 10 resources to do that in one swing.
So now I believe I'm going to Time Ripple the marble. The reason behind this is what I said before, is I don't want for the cavalry to have a speed this turn, because I cannot block it effectively and have my token survive. So if he had him was a transformed cavalry this turn, he could freely attack, which would have been a little bit bad for me.
Also important to note, this is the last time you're actually able to Time Ripple it, because he can just turn it into the cavalry in response next turn.
Exactly.
You can't wait for him to get to 9, because then he'll just be able to choose either way. So that's something that's really not odd about Marvel, but one of the things that's really powerful about Marvel is they can play around everything with just transforming it into whatever they need to at a certain given moment.
Yeah, able to pump again in response and have the trigger activate again. It's really, really powerful of Marvel.
See, it looks like you decided not to Time Ripple there.
Yeah, but it was in my mind.
So you can have the Counter Magic here, or you could Time Ripple your own totem.
Yeah, I think I go for the counter magic here and then Time Ripple the marble this turn, as I know he cannot bump it into the transformation trigger this turn. So I just counter this, and I believe I Time Ripple the marble at the end of this turn. But again, I think about all the plays. As I said, at this point I'm playing around the stuff that is not there, because it's a different deck.
Yeah, now you have your it's also not irrelevant making his second Extinction in his hand be costing 6, because it means he can't the next turn Extinction plus flip marble. Well, he can actually do that.
One of the things is that I just searched his graveyard to see how many Extinctions there were, and there were 1. He has already drawn only 21 cards, or 21 cards. So the chance of him having extra Extinctions are not that high, so I can potentially go to town with this totem. But that's why I try to counter that there, and hopefully he doesn't have the additional Extinctions.
Yeah, it's one of the things that's also very powerful about Cabal's deck is that the amount of cards he draws all these multiples, because he goes through so much of his deck every turn, or every game rather. So he sees a lot of cards, and that really lets him get to be multiple Extinctions, multiple Relentless Corruptions, multiple Crash of Beasts, and so on and so forth, to really just have consistency over a lot of the other decks you see out there.
Yeah, the thing is, it's also hard to play around. You just have to try to work to play the odds and see. He has not gone through half of his deck, so hopefully he has not gotten more than two, and try to play that way, as you really cannot are really not certain of anything. So you just try to play the odds as best as you can. Also, if he doesn't have the distinction soon, this totem will go to town, as I can pump it three turns. So it's basically extinction or boss right now, as I can pump it to 8 and attack again, and finish the game if he doesn't draw the extinction or have the extinction right now. So that's also the reasoning there. But as you can see, he has the extinction. So I go for the all-in play to try to win the game as quickly as possible. I'm going to pay it dearly.
See, I would think here maybe just leaving it at 7, since next turn you can pump it to 8 and then kill him, and playing out the second marble to have another attacker potentially. The following turn would be maybe the smarter play. Because you could play the marble, pump it to 1, and then flip it the next turn, making an 8/8 with life drain.
Yeah, that's the play. I should have gone, and I believe I do not go with it.
Because the extra point of damage doesn't actually do anything this turn, whereas the marble gives you protection against a potential extinction.
Yeah, he knows what the last card in my hand is due to that Inquisition.
Though I'm sure it doesn't actually matter, considering he can extinction plus Crash a Beast, so he can still be able to block the 8/8, so it doesn't actually kill him. So this goes for ending it next turn, whereas the other one was just maybe a little bit safer, and potentially even too safe if he doesn't have the extinction. Doesn't actually do anything.
Yeah, I should have pumped the other one, but again, I was hoping he doesn't have the extinction here, as he really needs the extinction to win, and drawing the Inquisition there just completely
punishes you for it.
punishes me completely for it. So that is basically game over from this point onwards.
Yeah, and he knew he had the marble in there from the first extinction, so
For the first
now he
Inquisition,
knows that this is the best thing to do there, instead of just playing at the Crash of Beast, because
Yep.
giving you a second marble.
So I just say GG
horrible
there
for you.
because I know I tried to play around him not having extinction. I think it was fair. He had draw 22 cards there, and if he didn't have the third extinction there, he would have just lost the game there. As Mythic said, I would have potentially no, I should have played differently there and played the marble there. Fortunately, I did not, and I get completely punished by it with no chance of getting back into the game.
I mean, it's easy to see, in hindsight, but when you're in the game, obviously it's a little different. Like, you don't necessarily see everything when you're playing, as opposed to you see it when you're watching the games too. So, I'm not trying to call you out or anything on that one.
Oh yeah. No, I mean, I completely know I made a mistake there, and I played this game badly. Let's say I was just playing around the stuff that was not there and was not the point of the game, which you just cost me the game. If I had played knowing exactly what I was facing, some plays I've done, I had done before, would have been really different, and we could have seen a different ending to this game. As you can see, without the marble to follow up, I really have nothing here.
I got something to note here. Usually in most card games, the Sapphire type decks would be the ones with a ton of card advantage. But if you look at Cabal's hand's been at 5 the entire game, because he's gone through so much of his deck and drawn so many cards, and just has so much card advantage with the Relentless Corruptions and the necessary sacrifices that his hand just never seems empty.
Yeah,
which is really powerful.
Right now I believe he has 7 cards on me or something like that, as he took 1 from my deck. So it's 42 versus 33, I guess. So he's 9 cards ahead of me. Potentially more because he played across OB. So yes, he's 10 cards ahead of me.
And he's adding cards back into his deck too, which is...
Yeah, despite that, the thing is that I almost got the game. If he didn't have the distinction, I would potentially won. So that's one of the things that Sapphire Diamond does, is that it nullifies a lot of the cards your opponent draw if he is drawing more than you.
And that third Crash Abuse there is just...
Yeah, the third card should be just completely seals the deal. He just
Yeah,
plays.
he doesn't even need a chaos key here. You could just slam these two and
Yep.
pass. Because with um most decks, like against other decks rather, you have to worry about sweepers when you kind of overcommit like this with playing the two Crash Beasts. But knowing you're playing Sapphire Diamond, the only sweeper they can have would be Judgment, which isn't even that great of a sweeper. Despite a card that I really enjoy. So and even here, if he has a sweeper, it would just do nothing because it hits for 2, so wouldn't even kill off the field. So no reason not to just overextend there. He was thinking, I think, a little bit about playing the key and just snap keying away your armaments, but definitely the right play just to play everything and kill you next turn.
I could potentially time repull the armaments, but it's really not going to matter. So I don't believe they have that top deck that could potentially win me the game.
Yeah, buy you a turn, but you need more than a turn at this point to.
Yeah. I just didn't draw anything of relevance after the misplay with the marble, so I just decided to surrender there.
So what are you going to bring in against this matchup? I think this is the first time I'm seeing your reserves here.
Yeah, these are my old reserves. They have been changed a lot since there. I do just swap the solitary exiles for inner conflicts, I believe, just because I know he's going to bring Nitrous Rain. In addition,
And now you have a good idea that he's not playing the other deck, so.
yeah. I also the Buccaneers are also not fantastic against him, as the only truth is I saw him play our Senseis and Crash of Beast, and if I will still pull him in the Inquisitor plan with a Spell Shield, I cannot bounce that, and I don't want to bounce the Sensei. So they are far from fantastic. So I just put the Angels, which are a flying threat that can fly over the Crash of Beast.
Grok doesn't seem awful if you're putting him on the because it seems like you're still kind of thinking maybe he's playing the Spell Shield deck. So Groks don't seem that awful to bring in either, considering that's really the only way to deal with a giant pumped spider.
Yeah. So I didn't win with the inner conflicts in the end, just because of the Relentless Corrosion, I believe. As if he gets a marble, I have no answer for it over the Solitary Exile.
Yeah, for sure, it makes sense. Because you know he's gonna be taking cards out of your decks, and you know you have to interact with your deck as well as his deck.
Yeah. But if I was
So he takes out the Inquisitors for the Corpse Flies. I was thinking about taking out some Murders too, because his Murders are pretty much dead. I'd maybe take out more than that and bring in the Nature Rains.
yeah, the Corpse Flies are really good against this version I played of Sapphire Diamond. They have no card advantage at all. This has been fixed in next versions, but this was for the first time I was playing a tournament with this deck. It has quite a lot of flaws in the sideboard.
See, for me the Chaos Key seems a little slow. I may take it out to bring in the Curse of Oblivions to deal with multiple marbles, and because you have 4 of most of your win cons, so if you can deal with one of them pretty effectively with like Nature Rains and all that kind of stuff. I may want to bring in the Curse of Oblivion here to deal with your potential multiples of the marbles and stuff. Because with cards like Curse of Oblivion and Relentless Corruption, you're really just stripping away your opponent's entire deck, which is really the power of Blood. Like there's a mono Blood decks running around too that do similar things, where just kind of just tear apart your opponent's deck with just surely just taking your cards or voiding them out with Curse of Oblivions and such. So something maybe he may have wanted to do there that I'm not sure exactly, but it seems solid to me.
Yeah, it could be a good thing too. So I keep a Resolve heavy hand because I know that he cannot end the game quickly, and I have all my thresholds here. So I know I'm going to probably be able to draw something of relevance before the game is over.
Yeah, I mean, looking at Cabal's hand, it's like a perfect counter to your hand, right? He's got the Nature Rains, he's got the Extinction, and I just drew a Chaos Key, and your only two actual cards in hand are answered by all those 3 cards. It's kind of unfortunate, but
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, he didn't open an Inquisition there, which would have been worse, but
yeah.
skipping Resolve heavy hands against Inquisition are really punished. But again, I don't think he could have ended the game quickly. So I just kept a Resolve heavy hand and tried to hit my resources, as I really want to hit 5 as soon as possible.
Yeah, and Cabal is a very blood heavy deck, so even not having the second wild here isn't that big a deal. So he's gonna be able to core fly you next turn. To which you probably just discard a resource.
Yeah, the double course fly though, it's going to be annoying. You will see. So I played the Cypher here just to bluff counter magic, which I do not have.
Yeah, I mean, and he's gonna play. He probably plays a corpse fly on a counter magic anyway.
Yeah.
If you're gonna counter anything, corpse fly is one of the things you really just all right with him countering.
Yep. But course flies are really annoying to deal with in this deck.
Yeah,
Anything
sure.
that has built-in card advantage, it's pretty annoying to deal with Sapphire Diamond.
So you just pitch the resource there. And again, now he's gonna play no one next turn, makes you have to discard an actual card at that point, because you're gonna play the resource out next turn, and you don't really want to go to you don't want to be stuck on 3 resources by potentially dishing out one more.
Yeah. So I keep my hand here, and one of the mistakes I think I made is I don't rebuild the coast fly as soon as I can. Try to hold it for something better.
One of the things you could have done there to continue bluffing the counter magic would be to have thought more when he played the corpse fly, whereas you kind of just let it resolve immediately. If you had just tanked a little bit about it, he may be pondering you having a corpse fly, maybe thinking maybe counter the Inquisition's going to play this turn to the corpse fly. But probably going to change the way you played, but something that those of you at home may want to think about doing.
Yep.
If you want to bluff something, the more you think about things, like, makes it more believable.
So in here I think I ditched the result here, which I think it was a mistake. I shouldn't. But I'm playing with 25 resources, so I thought that I may be able to get something else. And I had the time repel Solitary Exile combo at 5, and the repel to deal with one of the troops, one of the coast flies, and if I get another resource I could potentially play through.
Yeah, that free angel is really nice for you there. It's like one of the better things to even get. So you're thinking about solitary exiling the Chaos Key here potentially? So you were hovering over it for a second there.
Yeah, the thing is, Solitary Exile, the coast flight is really bad. Just because if he Chaos Key, I will lose another card. I really don't want to Solitary Exile the Chaos Key, just because it can just get blown over and then do it again. So it's a little bit iffy.
You can see you really want to wait till 5 here, by the fact that you're tanking so bad on it.
Yeah.
Like, you really want to wait till you can do both. But again, a free angel makes it so you don't really have to bother doing it. Like, obviously he can Chaos Key away your angel next turn, but you can always bounce it back to your hand, or even just bounce the key in response. But you can't make a bounce the key in response, but you can, respond to it. And voiding away a free angel is not really a big deal because it's a free angel. You didn't pay for it or anything.
The thing is that I hope he didn't get the 5 resource for him to be able to void the angel with the Chaos Key. And even if he voids the angel with the Chaos Key, if I get a resource, I can potentially get through. So it doesn't pay out. But yeah, I really wanted to get to 5 to play the Solitary Exile too. So I get a little bit greedy there. Hopefully he doesn't get the resource.
Yeah, so you can go ahead and just repel that.
Or at least thinking of doing it.
Yeah, I mean, like, preventing 2 damage isn't really the greatest.
I should have repelled there.
Probably, but
because my mana,
I can see why not too.
Yeah, I mean, you want to waste it on something of more value, but I think there's really nothing else more value, and my shot is going to be tied if I draw a resource. So
I don't think of more value would be a Crash of Beast, and even that's not that great of value because he just the point of the Crash of Beast is to escalate it. So
yeah. So I to take two extra points that I should have not taken there.
But you missing resource drops and Cabal hitting all of his is really bad for you.
I did not miss really the resource drops. I just got them discarded by the coast flies. Still think that.
Well, yeah, but you still missed the drops because they were gone.
Yeah. I should have discarded the second resource, as I knew that hitting 5 is really important on my deck.
Yeah, you probably kept the Ripple for the Ripple Exile combo, right? Not
Yeah.
really any other reason.
I mean, it's really good. Also, the Ripple can potentially save my stuff from extinction. So it's really nice.
It's a pseudo counter magic.
Yeah. It's just really versatile.
Probably takes the.
The Drew.
He has got 2 answers to Drew in hand. I'd probably take the Mastery time if I was him. You could answer the Drew, you can't answer the Mastery, so.
The thing is, Mastery is completely useless if I don't have the Drew, though.
Yeah, but you're gonna have it in your hand for quite a while. You can always wait till later in the game to play it out. I'd probably take the Mastery. He's got Nature Rains in hand for Drew or Exile, so both of those are answered.
Yeah.
He's got Extinction to also answer Drew, so.
I mean, the thing is, if he does not take the Drew, he's basically telling me I have Nature's Reigns.
It's got Timerable, which I guess yeah, you could always respond to. You could wait to play the Drew till you could respond with the Timerable as well.
Yeah.
But you're on such a clock at this point too that maybe that seems kind of weird.
So I know he has Nature's Reigns from this point onwards, and I play around Nature's Reigns because I know he has it.
So you take 5 points of damage here, but you know the marble's gonna get eaten by the Nature Rains for sure.
It's probably going to get eaten by that.
Yeah, I mean, like if you have a Nature Rains in your hand, you're salivating when you see a Soul Marble almost every time. That's really what it's in there for.
I mean, to be fair, at this point, I'm just going to try to bait the Nature's Reigns for the Soul Marble.
Yeah, because you definitely want your Druid to get hit by it. You definitely don't want your Exile to hit by it at this point, because it's really one of your only removal spells. You kind of want to kill off those guys.
Yeah. But again, Cabal is just smart and doesn't take the bait there, as he knows he can always do it somewhere sometime later. So I believe that I'm just dead here, as I'm really forced to play the Solitary Exile here.
Yeah, and he can kill it on a turn, so
End of turn,
slow him down.
and then I have to have a way of dealing with the cosplay, which I do not have. Fortunately for me, I believe he doesn't see the play and does not go for it. So this game goes on for quite a bit. But with my current hand and one with the info he knows, is all of my casting hand but one. If he had Nature's Range at the end of this turn, I will have just died.
It's a spoiler alert there.
He does not. So I managed to top deck out of this easy situation.
Yeah, I mean, Nature Range in there just makes you dead to the following turn, and you can't really, like, obviously he doesn't know you have a second Exile in hand, which still wouldn't even be enough, because he takes 5 this turn and then 2 the following turn.
Yeah.
So
if he had done it, the second Solitary Exile wouldn't matter. But if he tries to do it on this turn, it will matter.
Sebastian down to 5. You have a Marble out at 3, which probably won't be getting much higher anytime soon. You're stuck on resources, so you have to kind of keep reacting to whatever else he does and try to stay alive for as long as possible.
Yeah, I thought I was completely dead there. I didn't understand why he didn't Nature's Range on the last turn. So I'm basically on borrowed time, and I just stopped like out of the situation, because if he had done it last turn, I couldn't have responded to it because I was tapped. But right now I can counter the Nature's Range and survive this turn.
And also pump your Marble to 4, which isn't irrelevant either.
Yep. So now I'm doing the math of what's going to happen if I counter the number of cards I have in hand, and yada yada.
The Math Master.
But yeah, as you see, he will have, if he got I mean, he probably has seen the play, but he just waited one more turn
Yeah, give you a turn to draw out of it.
to draw out of it. I mean, I really top decked the card that I needed to stop it. Just was
Yeah.
really lucky on my part.
Well, even there, like, had he done, this anyway, you could have, on your main phase or whatever, you could have exiled it. Could have exiled the corpse flyer or whatever instead if you didn't draw the counter magic. So if he at least only hits you down to 2.
No, but
then you
the
could
thing is,
survive.
if he had done it last turn, I would have taken a 5 instead
Oh,
of
you'd
2.
be dead. Yeah.
So I
Yeah,
will
you'd
be
dead.
at 2. So if I solitary exile whatever of the 2 troops, I die to the other one, and I don't have enough resources to play two stuff in one turn. So.
Yeah. Oh no, he definitely just didn't. It wasn't the right play to make there. He just gave you an extra turn. I'm just saying, like, if you didn't have the counter magic, you could have this turn used the exile to get rid of the
Close fly, yeah.
and then going on to 2 instead of 3.
Which is still hairy, but I mean I will have done it because what I need to do.
Yeah, I mean you gotta do. So you draw a 5th resource here. You can play the Drew and then hope to hit a 6th resource to flip your marble the following turn.
Yep.
Which you don't get, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So you almost have to exile the
Yeah, basically
fly here
have
just
to
not to die.
yeah, exile the fly and hopefully I draw resource and I can potentially transform the marble next turn and gain 6.
Yeah, because once you start getting some life off the marble, you can get back in the game. But at the current state, you just need to try to live as much as possible. Just keep postponing the game.
Again, solitary exile, a corpse fly is really not what you want to do.
But you already know he used the nature reigns earlier, so
Yeah, I know he probably has more of those. I also saw the chaos keys. So I mean I do it because there's really not much I can play around this point not to die.
yeah. But you also know he only has 2 in it. He probably has max 3 in his deck at this point, post reserves. So and he hasn't drawn nearly as many cards as he drew the first game. So I think it's safe to just.
I mean,
Slightly
it's no well safe. Because the thing is that solitary exile troops with enter to enter play triggers, it's always scary because they can come to haunt you on the turn you less expect and cost you the game. So you never want to do it unless you are really forced to do it, which I am forced right now. As going down to 1 is just way too scary.
And Cabal keeps working here, getting resource after resource after resource. So that's also helping you be able to stay in the game at this point.
Yep.
If he was hitting Crash of Beast and Relentless Corruptions, it would be a very different game. But it's kind of bricking here a little bit. And unfortunately, you're bricking as well, though.
Yep.
So can't really say too much about that one. So you can pump your marble to 9 and then flip the following turn, getting 6 life. But you have to be a little bit scared about him having something like a life siphon off the top or something like that, right?
I mean, the thing is, if he has life siphon in his decks, I just died, so I cannot play around it. But now he start getting sensei, which are really annoying, as they can chomp the cavalry for quite a bit of time.
Yeah, I mean, and then it also lets them to extinction, and you don't really even get to bash them down for 6. So it's still, like, while not the hugest deal in the world, it's still just a pain. You'd like to at least get him down from 20 so he doesn't get, like, the flawless victory on you or something.
Yeah, every hero power it's a fog, and every sensei is a fog. So it's quite annoying when you playing cavalry. If he hadn't gotten the sensei and he didn't use the hero power there, I could have potentially deal a lot of damage with the Masters of Time.
Yeah. If you weren't so behind on resources, too, because you couldn't, like, flip Cavalry and Master here. Is there the potential thought of flipping Cavalry end of his turn and then going for Mastery?
Yeah, I think that's one of the thoughts. There's also the thought of I just play Drew here, and if I get a resource next turn, I can do that play, even if he extinction on deal with my Drew in some way.
Yeah, I think that's probably the safest play, is to go for Drew, hope to hit a resource, flip your armaments, and then Mastery. That kind of just ends the game immediately.
Yeah, and if he doesn't deal with the Drew, as I know he got the Night's Ray, but he already used it, and I know that Murder is not effective with Drew, so there's not that many stuff he can deal with Drew. So it could potentially end the game with a double Mastery of Time with the Drew. So I go for that play.
Yeah, because you're basically on borrowed time at this point, considering he gave you an extra turn by not, nature raining the exile earlier. So you kind of just going for, stealing the win here with him not having an answer to this Drew and you getting a resource. He has 2 answers to Drew though, so unfortunately, not gonna work out that well. Fortunately for you, unfortunately for him, he's a resource behind to be able to play this and do this in the same turn. But I'm sure he's fine with being a resource behind since you drew 10 of them.
Yeah, I mean, if he had a resource there, it could have been really, really hairy. He could have killed my marble there, or potentially get a troop. But at this point, it's killing the marble is a better play.
See, hit the resource there, but not the one you wanted to. Obviously, you wanted to hit the untapped resource, unexhausted resource. Because if you hit an unexhausted resource, it had 18 damage in 1 turn.
Yeah.
Well, in 3 turns, but 3.
Exactly. If I hit it an untapped resource there, he will down to 2, with 3 draws, which I could potentially get another Mastery of Time if I got lucky, or something in between. He will also put me potentially get the second marble up and running. But
so you're thinking here about maybe trying to make him use the Chaos Key on your 9 marble and flipping it in response, or he's almost certainly going to throw it at a exile at this point, right?
Yeah, I mean, what I'm afraid is I don't want to pump the marble and not to get to use the Mastery of Time, because that's the way of me still in the game. So I'm thinking that can I afford not hitting the resource? So what I'm trying to do here is to try to hit a resource. So not try to hit a resource because I already have the Shards of Fate. So I'm sacrificing 6 damage just to make him take 12 and gain.
So yeah, sacrificing 6 damage for 12 damage. So it's not like you're sacrificing all that much. But you're also, gaining 12 life, which is probably a little more relevant.
Yeah, I gain 12 life here. Also, I do it because he has not used his hero power, the chump blocker. So
yeah, he was saving the hero power for necessary sacrifices, but had he used it last turn, well, actually, if he had used it last turn, it would have been erased by the extinction anyway. But
no, but he goes post extinction. I mean, of course.
So, yeah.
I'm just thinking there's a better play of not pumping the marble here, or if I not only pumping the marble, but if I want to make armaments for some reason and play the totem.
Yeah, but that's very risky considering he has the Chaos Key out there.
Yeah.
Which is why when you're at this point in the game, where you have so many resources, playing Chaos Key and using it in the same turn is almost always better, because it does make your opponent occasionally misplay and do something that you'd like them to, that you can then Chaos Key away, as opposed to now Indormi will just not ever flip that new armament because he knows it's going to go away.
Yeah. In addition to that, you cannot respond to the Chaos Key at all, so that's also annoying.
So you're kind of thinking about maybe playing the second soul marble out, or maybe even the living totem instead of going for the mastery totem?
Yeah, I could potentially play the totem and try to fly for the last couple of damage. So I'm thinking it is worth it mastering again.
It's like your cursor's having a little bit of Tourette's there.
Yep.
So you're just gonna end your turn here?
Yeah, I'm thinking about it.
You're going for it.
Yeah.
You're going for it. You think far more than I do.
I mean, I try to play around all what he has. I mean, as I said, he gives me more borrowed time, so I'm trying to play the best. I have to think what he has in hand. I know that is probably a removal spell. It is an extinction. It is not an extinction, because that's really important.
Yeah, if it was an extinction there and you pass the turn, it's really bad for you. But now if it's an extinction, you have the timer pool now to deal with it. Or you can even timer pool your own solitary exile in response to him Chaos King it away, since now the Troop doesn't have pseudo speed by coming into play immediately. Like if it was a nature range and he used solitaire assault, it still had the speed, whereas now you can timer bullet or timer bullet your armament, your cavalry rather, to keep it alive through extinction as well as reuse your exile.
Yep.
Which are very relevant.
So if I play the Soul Marvel here, he can only make one chump blocker, so I could potentially hit him for 6 at least. He does an extinction or something like that. That's the reason I play the Marvel here.
Yeah, the Marble's almost certainly going to eat the Chaos Key though. Like, and he drew the extinction, which is really nice. So you may go for the Chaos Key first to see if you're going to go ahead and bounce your Marble in response, but nope, goes for the extinction first, which obviously you're going to use your timer pull to bounce that.
Yeah, I'm thinking if there's do I need the time rebuff or something else? And I decide that no, that probably getting the saving this guy from extinction it's really nice, especially because I believe that's the second extinction or the third extinction of the game.
I think that's the third.
Yeah,
I'm not really sure.
It's the second or the third, but there's a lot of extinctions, so I know he's going to eventually run out of extinctions, and when the extinctions run out, cavalry can just run rampant. I mean, there's still the double block with rhinos, but apart from that, there's not much he can do about resolve cavalry when the extinctions are out of his deck. Especially
he's gonna go ahead and Chaos Key now. Yeah, so he's in Chaos Key away the Marble now. Not that it matters all that much, but I think going for the Chaos Key before the extinction is a little bit safer, because there's a potential that you have something like a timer pull, and you want to go for, timer pulling your Marble, and then if you have counter magic and timer pull in hand, it makes it so you're not going to counter magic the. You can only do one or the other. So
I played a totem here, because he can fly over the chump blockers, basically.
Yeah, I mean obviously that move's a little soft to removal, but at least you're eating a removal spell from his hand, so you draw like something else later.
Yeah, I just try to end the game as quickly as possible. If I had played the cavalry, this would have been a little bit different, as he would have played the necessary sacrifice, making no chump blockers potentially.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like Cabal usually uses his charge power just for sacrificing and not really for chump blocking. Because there's been multiple times where if he had just made a chump blocker, he would have been taking less damage and extending the game a little bit there. But if we're looking at the time clocks here, like you're behind by 2 minutes, and it's getting really down to the wire here with the time.
Yeah, one of the things too is that to be fair, the Monica Sheen chump blockers don't really matter, except in a couple of matchups, and the Soul Cavalry one is one of the few that matter.
Yeah, so he may just not be used to playing against cavalries or whatever. Maybe that's why he's thinking they're just better for sacrificing as opposed to saving 6 life.
So he gets the 4th extinction, I believe that's in his hand, and I get, I think, my 3rd Marble, which is top deck after top deck right now.
Yeah, so he's gonna be going for tit for tat on this one here. Though again, Cabal has so much more card advantage than you that the necessary sacrifice he has in his hand is really nice for him.
Yeah. If I get a resource though next turn, I'm able to flip the Marble. Will be really nice. So right now I'm counting the amount of extinctions there. So that's the 3rd one, not the 4th one. And there's the 4th one.
And that's Relentless Corruption too, so you could potentially take a Repel. Not really a great one to grab off there.
No, I believe I understand what he grabbed from my deck in a couple of turns. Right now I don't know, but I think I managed to put him on that last card in hand, and I noticed the card from my deck, so I believe I just managed to guess that he took a Repel from my deck at one point. Fortunately,
That
do
was
not
like
get
the
a resource to
best possible top deck right there for you.
Yeah.
Obviously, the research would have been nice, but knowing that he has the
for extinction.
extinction in hand,
Yep.
yeah, a really, really nice top deck for you. Because your only way to win the game at this point is to Soul Marble him.
I mean, that's what.
That's not only way, but I mean, you could play Drew as well and make it into a cavalry in armaments or whatever. But Drew's a little more soft than the Soul Marble is.
I mean, to be fair, that once the extinctions are done, he cannot deal with the Drew effectively. He only has the nature's range, as the Mortis.
There's also got Chaos Keys.
Yeah, the Chaos Keys too, I guess.
Potentially, and there's the Repel in hand. So you
Yeah,
could deal with
but
the
the
Drew
repulse are
easier
from
than
my
you can deal
deck,
with
but
the
from
Marble.
his deck, there's not that many.
Yeah. So you're doing the 1x1 here because you want to keep open counter magic.
No, it's because
well
he
as-
may have taken Time Ripple from my deck. So I play around my own Time Ripple. And that's why I just pumped and play also around Counter Mike on my own deck.
So then you can flip it and have counter magic open, which is really nice. Obviously, he has the chump blocker now with the Battle Hopper. I guess to be fair, the chump blockers earlier in the game didn't matter as much. He wasn't really playing around Mastery of Time, which is what did him all the damage.
Yep.
So I guess it's fair enough to say that he was just holding them for sacrifices earlier, and not necessarily misplaying but not playing Battle Hoppers.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, he knew I have at least one Mastery of Time as he saw it when he Inquisitioned me at the start of the game. So now I'm thinking that if it is worth it to Time Ripple the Battle Hopper and put him at 2. Which will leave me with no resources for counter magic.
Yeah, I think it's a little too risky to go for it.
Yeah, but I think about it.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you think about it. You think about everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, obviously just keep the counter magic open. Like, the only way to answer this is
The fourth.
extinction. He drew 6 cards last turn, right?
He drew a couple of not 6. I think he drew another corruption plus the 3 of them.
Well, he's drawn like 7 cards since
Yeah,
he last played extinction. So there's a possibility he has a 4th extinction in hand. So playing around it is very, very
I mean,
fun.
I will normally play around it because he has to draw half of his deck right now. Well, a little bit less than half of his deck. So he had to have the 4th extinction on the first half of his deck. So it's not like super probable that he has 4 of them. So now I know that's the 4th one. So, but basically, he was holding the counter mic for potentially Crush of Beasts or the 4th extinction there.
Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of problematic cards he could have had that
Yeah.
leaving open the counter magic was better than potentially knocking him down to 2. And now you can do it this turn too, so it's not like you lost a whole lot by doing that.
I mean, the thing is, I could have Time Ripple my Cavalry there instead of counter mic the 4th extinction. I'll leave the counter mic for something else.
That wouldn't have been bad either, yeah. I missed that one.
Yeah, I had a couple of choices there.
It's this deck in particular really shows the power of cards like Time Ripple for the fact that you can do things like that where it's basically a pseudo counter magic against removal spells.
Yeah, I'll.
Which again I think is something a lot of new players tend to miss. Even veteran players I'm sure miss it occasionally, but something cool to look at. I mean, obviously the +1 to the cost is a little bit unfortunate, but
Yeah,
still nice ability to have.
I agree, Mythic. It's one of the really nice trick I have in the deck. Is super versatile. So it's a little bit unfortunate that that he gets the Sensei there, because he has no hero power. So he will potentially end the game with the Time Ripple attack.
Yeah, and drawing into that second corpse fly is really unfortunate too, because he can't even bounce his Sensei.
Yep.
So he makes you discard the
Time Ripple.
and now there's 2 chump blockers.
To be fair, I cannot complain, as we basically have to take a couple of times after the first counter magic play. I started counter magic, then he starts top taking the distinctions.
Basically, after that one turn he gave you by not getting rid of the exile earlier in the game, after that point you've kind of just top decked. Well, not necessarily top decked, but drawn very well.
Yeah, but he also drew very well with drawing all the 4 distinctions. I mean, he will potentially have drawn much better with multiple Crush of Beasts closing the game.
Yeah, but he's also drawn 7 more cards than you, so
Yeah.
it's also that point.
Yeah, yeah. I agree that that was lucky here.
Yeah, so we see if you look again at the time clock there, they're both down to a minute left, and this is only the second game. So,
We know that
even
there's
if
no other. There's not going to be a third game.
yeah, there's no way there could be a third game. Even if, you know, I don't know if that was lucky guessing or if he kept track of which one was which.
You know,
But
he gets tracking of the which one was.
that's too much work for me. I can't figure that out at all ever. But yeah, even basically, if Crawl needs to win this game to take it over, because whoever times out is going to be a loser in this one, and they're behind by literally seconds.
Yeah, as you can see now, I just don't think and just spam the.
Yeah, I mean you're out of time to think. At this point, it's just bash go, bash go.
So I try to finish the game as also if I can, just to go 1-1.
Yeah, to at least finish it off legitimately if you can. But you see, they're both down to almost the exact same amount of time now. I'm not sure whether that was internet issues or what that was exactly, but Cabal doesn't seem to be playing much slower than you were.
I mean, he had a couple of his internet is not fantastic, so he loses a couple of seconds every time.
Yeah, a couple of key seconds from that. Which is kind of unfortunate. You wouldn't see that in a traditional TCG, but take the good with the bad with that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Again, the senseis are really annoying. Just because he let him run into additional jump blockers.
Yeah, he drew into the Trump blocker the first time, and then drew into the nature range that time to really keep making you have to.
Yeah. At this point, I already realized that the card in hand was a repel. Because it was the card left from my deck, and if it was any other card, he would have already played it.
Yeah, for sure. One of the bad things about Inquisition is late in the game, it's awful.
Not late in
As
the
you
end,
see
with,
there.
when both people are top decking, it's really bad.
Yeah. And that Master of Time is really nice. So it lets you still don't actually win the game from it, but it lets you at least, have the solace of maybe I would have won the game.
Yeah, no, I mean, I Master of Time here, I put him at 2, and I mean, there are still light draws in his deck. I don't know how many cosplay he played this turn or how many senseis, but he still has the 4 Crush of Beast as a way out. But other than that, I don't think there's much cards that will make him survive another turn. But unfortunately, he just times out before the game resolves.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it ended with a really intense matchup between the two of you guys, but again, it happens. It happens in Hex.
Yeah, I mean, that game after the borrowed time that I got from Cabal, it's probably a little bit on my favorites. As I said, the Crush of Beasts was the best draw that Cabal can had. Because the thing is that even if he get the Relentless Corruption from my deck, I don't have much ways to deal with my own Marvel with a Cavalry Resolve.
Yeah.
Basically, had to top deck a Drew or something like that. It will also give him a turn.
But yeah, so that was that matchup. We're gonna go do some more. So we'll see you guys in the next one.